And so let's go into the SWIFT issue to some degree, because
Yeah.
people won't know what that is and
So
why it's important.
it's very complicated, and it is in some respects overblown. SWIFT is a European consortium that is the means by which banks communicate with one another to do bank-to-bank transfers. And if you are kicked out of SWIFT, then you have to find other ways of communicating with banks in order to do bank-to-bank transfers. There are other ways.
But it's harder.
It's much harder. It's much more. It's much slower. It's more. It introduces all kinds of friction into bank-to-bank transactions, which is important because the Russians rely on dollar reserves for their reserves, and when they have challenges interacting with the dollar market globally, it's a big problem for them, and getting them interfering with their ability to use SWIFT makes that much harder for them.
So it makes it harder for them to do what? So they
It
can't
makes
get
it harder
access
for
to
them
money.
to move money around, including to reclaim money that is abroad, or to move money to buy things, or various other things that states do and that individuals try to do using banks and so on. It just throws a huge amount of sand in the gears of all of that.
Do the Russians use SWIFT to move money between the banks in Russia, or is that all international?
I don't know how they do it within Russia.
Okay.
I'm sure they can work that out internally, but
Right.
it's getting abroad is a whole other story.
Okay.
But important as SWIFT is, actually the sanctions on the Russian central bank are even more important, because SWIFT is just a means of communication, and it is important. And I'm glad that we've gotten people around on that for the most part.